Welcome to Behind the Muscle podcast. Today's guest is an NPC bodybuilder. Today's guest is Mike Scherer. Mike, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. It's going great. I'm probably feeling a little bit better than you are. Just a few days out from nationals, so I just kind of want to catch up, Mike, since I've kind of already had you on once. We kind of got your backstory and your upbringing and stuff like that. We're just going to kind of catch up. So you competed at North Americans earlier this year. Why don't you talk about your placing? You got fifth place. What were your thoughts kind of like with that placing? What were your thoughts in terms of continuing on to compete at nationals this coming weekend? Just touch on that, please.
So going into North Americans, I think I was like before we flew out, the day we flew out, I was like 228. And with flying and everything, you get kind of nervous. So we landed, and then the next day everything was good. It was really like everything just happened the right way. So we got really lucky there. And then we ended up making weigh-ins. And what was cool about North Americans is you checked in on a Thursday and you competed on a Saturday. So well, you had the option at North Americans. So we were like, let's weigh in early and then let's use these 2 days to kind of fill out, which really helped my look. But me and Marcus only worked, my coach, we only worked together. That was our third prep. And that was my first ever nationals, which I think I mentioned in the last podcast. Now I had done junior nationals, but for a bodybuilder, that's not nationals. You can't go pro or anything. So like things came together there at the last minute. We did 2 days, but obviously every prep's a little different. And now normally when we had prepped, it was kind of like regular check-in, load up, next morning is show. That changes things when you have time in a good way or a bad way. I mean, it just depends. You could, fill out perfect or get a little too crazy because you're excited because you do have more time, which makes it, I think it makes it more competitive. So anyways, all that just to say that was our first time doing a 2 day prep. So, I like to take that into consideration. First time on national stage. And I'm someone that gets very anxious. So like, even though I'm excited, right before they call my name or right before I go on stage is when like, and you can see it on stage. And this is the biggest thing I need to improve. And that's where I'll go into is, I look like a deer in the headlights. It's almost like I'm getting ready for a fight. And it's not like I want to fight anybody. Like I love it. I love the stage. Like everything is so fun. And I actually like when we fly out on Tuesday, that's my favorite week is just chilling with the team and hanging out. But like something about when I get on there and then the stage is, it's the North Americans was not a small stage and nationals is an even bigger stage. So I just get out there and I'm like, oh man. And they're not joking. Like the lights are hot and, and a lot of those guys, it's their eighth time doing a national show, not just a show. And so I have a lot of respect, so I very much feel like the rookie up there, like, what's going on, man. But so it was a great experience. Having said that, obviously, I think the judges could tell. Like, and I don't know. I hold myself to a very high standard. Maybe no one even noticed. I hated my routine. I hated my individuals. I hated my posing. I overposed. Like I remember at one point we turned to the back and I was posing so hard I couldn't see. But the show means so much to you. You just prepped your ass off. You hold it. And I thought if I pass out, dude, I pass out. But that's not good. And I didn't know from inexperience that overposing was a thing. And then what I've learned this prep being so much leaner and then working with people like JT, Pelkey, you might know, I'm sure you know JT.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast. Great guy.
Yeah. So anyways, he lives close. And I was like, man, after that show, that was my focus, North Americans, was presentation. So I beat myself up pretty bad about that because let's say I had won that day, I would have been mad because I didn't present myself as a pro. I wouldn't say like Mike Scherer is I take a lot of pride in the sport, like if you're a pro, I want it to mean something. And winning like that, presenting like that, you should never say like, look at Mike Scheer's posing routine and then them go, that's a pro. And that's how it would have been if we're being honest. I was not happy with it. So am I happy with fifth? Like, no. Do I think it's a smack in the face that I needed? Yes. Because do I think that I could have placed higher had I posed better? for sure. Now, the reason I say that is, I mean, in the very beginning, they put me right, to the middle, like to battle it out, top three. I started getting bad with posing. They moved me to the outside, rightfully so. I'm never going to argue like, you know what I mean? I'm not the guy that's ever going to be mad about a placing. I don't look at it as none of those guys that beat me that day. I don't look at it as they're better. That on that day, were they better all the way around? Yes. If they're going to be at nationals, we'll see. You know what I mean? It's just, and any pro will tell you that too. I mean, a lot of these top guys, they go against each other each year, and it's just who's going to be on today. I mean, you don't know. You know what I mean? And so that's what makes it great. But also, like, I would never resent anybody for that, because I just don't understand when guys get mad at each other. It's like, bro, it is what it is. Like, if I go and there's some guy at nationals with he's just filled out. I mean, did I do everything I could? Yeah. What am I going to do? Buy muscle and slap it on before the show? So I just don't see the stress in that. But to bring back to nationals, so we did pre-judging. We came back to the Airbnb. Everything was cool. Like, everyone was happy, but I mean, obviously I was upset with my posing, but like the look we brought was great. Like, being a first national show and getting a first call out is like, I mean, not many people understand how insane that is. I mean, just to get a first call out is like, I mean, you guys know, everybody here watching knows, it's insane. I mean, and I'm very much, like, inexperienced show wise. But anyways, when we came back, it was kind of like, this is our third prep. We did Oklahoma and I won, and then junior nationals, I got second. And then here we got fifth. Well, I mean, we're already assuming, like, all right, we got first call outs. I don't know if you're going to place, but let's just, talk about some things. And we just realized that, like, we had never had a prep 100% together, like, and I just mean, like, hitting on all aspects. Like, there's always been something, like, in my first show, it was my first time. I wasn't even lean enough. And then I got lean enough, but I lost a lot of muscle because I didn't have density. Now I have density and leanness, and I show up and I didn't present myself because I didn't take posing serious. So it was the slap in the face that I needed. And I'm not afraid to tell anybody that. Like, and my coach will tell you, I didn't take posing serious. I needed to get knocked down to realize that you got to take it serious. And but I needed that. So, I would never look back at that fifth and be mad, because that was a vital point to where now my posing should never be, an issue. So having said that, we were just like, man, I'd really like to close out the year with 100% prep. Like, there was a few things during the 2-day thing that we learned with my body that were like, okay, this worked. Because we woke up one day and everything was going great. And we changed a little something, which I have all the notes, but I can't remember exactly. And the next, like, couple meals, I started looking not as good. But I mean, you only learn that by doing the prep, and you only get the chance, you only get a peak week once per show. So it's like, this is only the third at that time. So long story short, we just said, I think we can bring 100%. Knowing these things, you need to work on posing, but your physique is up there, dude. Like, your top 6, like, just present it well, and then let's dial in your prep. Mainly for me, like, this is more like, like, of course the goal is take the overall. Like, I mean, I'm dead set on it, but everybody is, you know what I mean? Which they should be. They better be, you know what I mean? If you're coming and you're cheating, like, I already hate you. But I forget where I was going with that, man, because I got sidetracked.
You're just talking about having like a full prep, and just
Yeah.
being in the mix. I think going into nationals, right?
Yeah. So basically, it was just like, we didn't know if I had the size and the density, but then we saw me up there, and I was like, if I could be more conditioned, which also I've learned is awesome, because then you don't even have to hold your pose really. Like I'm so lean. Like, when I posed this morning, I'm like, I'm not even like trying, but that's gonna be huge for someone like me, who struggles with their breathing. Maybe I need to be like absolutely shredded, just so that I don't have to worry. But yes, to your point, we want to see what we can do. And this is the biggest show, all the guys that got, because pro cards were like few and far between for us in North Americans, which is great. I like that. But a lot of those guys that lost, I expect them to come down, just like me. Why not? It's one more show. 12 weeks was not the most fun, but you're already lean. So So I expect to see a lot of those guys, which they were good. And like I said, just because I beat them that day doesn't mean discard them. Just because, you've seen people go second call outs. Maybe I don't even remember I'm at North Americans and they smack me, those are things that happen. So, so I expect to see a lot of those guys and then a lot of the guys that do nationals every year. You know what I mean? Like, I think Brandon did it last year. He's got huge arms. And a couple others, like the staple guys are going to be there, and they're not bad guys. These are guys that are just barely missing it every year. So, but that's what we want. You know what I mean? I don't know why you would want to go on a stage smaller and see. Let's see where we're at.
Awesome, man. So we're going back to I guess North Americans. Were you, I know you were disappointed in yourself because of your posing, and you already touched on some of the things that you wish you would have done better or that you kind of took away from that experience. But overall, Mike, I mean, that being your first national pro qualifier, getting into the first call, it's 5th place overall. I mean, at the end of the day, were you at least happy on some level with how you performed that day, or do you feel like it was just not at all?
Like the performance, am I happy with? No. My look and all the work I put in, for sure, yeah. But like, I don't want to even watch the posing video. It sucks so bad. I mean, like, and I'll tell you, like, I hate it, and I'm not proud of it. I appreciate it for the lesson, but I don't like it, or ever look back and be proud of that. That's honestly, it's embarrassing to me. It's a poor representation. It's like last year when and I don't mean to start crap here, but there was a guy, I was at nationals and he was a heavyweight. It was this big fat dude, and I know his picture was all over the internet, and that pisses people off because we work so fucking hard, and it's just like, it's a big joke to you, like, ha ha, like, listen, we're not here making fun of you. You're making fun of us by doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're taking our sport that takes, like, I mean, people invest their like, this is my life. I know anyone going to nationals, like, this is their life. Like, this is the level where that, and so to do that stuff, just like, to me, it's the same, like, level, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Like I just feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I don't ever want to get off stage and be like, oh, that's Mike. He's got great shape, but he's, the clown. Like, I don't want to be the clown. I could be funny, but I don't want to be the clown because I suck at posing and I'm a clown.
Right.
So,
you getting 5th place at North Americans, you can't compare that to that guy from last year at nationals, because that stuff, when I see that stuff, because I compete not in the NPC, but like every competition you go to, there's always somebody that's in my estimation, we don't know their story. Maybe they've lost a bunch of weight, but when people say that, I'm like, well, find some other avenue or outlet, just taking pictures of yourself, putting them on Instagram or social media to kind of show your transformation. Don't disrespect us who've actually put in the work and looked the part. Don't disrespect us and the sport of bodybuilding by stepping on stage looking like that. But you can't compare your 5th place and your learning lessons to that. I'll say that for you, Mike. But okay, now, so from the time that you stepped off stage at finals at North Americans, did you guys have a little downtime? Did you have a little health phase before you crank things back up for your nationals prep? Walk us through that. What did that look like for you this year, Mike?
So it was a little interesting because well, actually, it was at first it was stressful because so I train people in person and online, and for this show, I mean, your battery in like is just shriveling as you get into prep. So, and my clients know this, like they're phenomenal, like the clients I have. But you prepare for this, and then at some point, I stop taking new people, and I tell all these people after the show, I'm gonna work longer hours, I'm gonna have more energy, less time in the gym, more time for you guys. And I like it. So I was excited. And then like on the trip, I had to text them all like, hey, you're gonna have to wait another 12 weeks. And that's just the life, I guess, of having a trainer that's also, and I am trying to balance two businesses kind of, because it's like I just started all this personal training this year, and then but it's like bodybuilding, you're only young once. You got to show off the physique, you know? Man, I'm sorry. I forget where I was going
No, that's okay, my
there.
man. So just when you stepped off stage at North Americans, did you have like a little health phase?
Well,
Did you
that's
take
what,
a little downtime? And then when did you start cranking it up for nationals prep?
yeah. So, okay. So it was just a little weird because basically all my plans were go home, relax, enjoy time with family, enjoy food, chill, like prep's over, we're done. And we decided before I even left to drive home because I'm from Pittsburgh, so I drove home. And it was like I showed up and I was like, Mom, you know all that junk food I told you to get, just throw that shit out because we're doing it again. And it's just the opportunity I have to do it again is a blessing. So it's like my situation, it's hard to say no, because if people had the opportunity that I have, you couldn't say no. I mean, you just couldn't. So I had to say, let's do it. And so right then there, it was basically what we would do is 4 meals of like chicken and veggies, special. And then you get a meal to your own, but it's just like, remember, whatever you do right now, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I played it smart because I was like, I know what it's like to get in shape for me, and it sucks. I had to do, I think I was doing like 60 on the stairs and 50 on the bike last prep. Now, still the same time, but I'm doing the bike and the treadmill, which is obviously a lot easier. I mean, it's like, even like today, it's like bump it to 75, easy money, just keep, I mean, you can't put one foot in front of the other, but the stairs, that's hell on earth. You know what I mean? That's some real stuff. So I am being hard on myself and disappointed from the way I presented myself, was like extra dialed in. So I did have a few free meals, but there were a few times I went out with family and had nothing. There were a few times that I could have just like really fucked up some food, and I didn't because it's just not worth it. And and I'm like kind of doing the same thing. We're going to nationals and then going home for Christmas. And then this time there are no more shows. But so we did that for like that week that I was home, pretty balanced. And then I came back and we went on like I think it was like a 3 or 4 week out diet, something like that. And like you said, we just did like a cruise, just chilled. And then for a while, honestly, like for a while, I mean, because I honestly only went from 224 weighing in to the heaviest I got was 235. But like during that time period, the whole like for 8 weeks, I was like 231. So we stayed like within striking, you know what I mean? Like, and I guest posed at the Grand Prix here in Oklahoma. So that was cool. And then I think like shortly after that, so that was like 5 weeks out and then right back to prep stuff.
Okay.
So, I mean, you don't really get to take a long break, you know what I mean? But then of course, after this is going to be an extra, you know what I mean? We're not going to just be like, it's not going to be the same recovery time as one prep. It's going to be a way different because you got to take into account everything's longer.
For sure. Now, you mentioned the cardio that you're up to. So what did you say? You're up to 75 minutes and then 60 minutes?
Oh, no, just 50 in the morning on the bike and then 60 on the treadmill at night.
Okay.
Or like post training, yeah.
Okay. So you're up there 110 minutes. I mean, that's quite a bit of cardio per day, huh? Is that 7 days a week, Mike?
Yeah. I always that's what I'm saying, man. For me to get in shape, it's not it's not a good time.
Yeah.
But I know there's others that got it worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's guys that are probably doing upwards to 90 minutes to 2 hours of cardio. So
Oh, yeah.
now I know we probably talked about your training on your first episode, but why don't you just for some of the people that didn't watch the first episode or listen to it, Mike, how do you kind of train? And then have you adjusted your training at all during your North Americans or nationals prep, or has it kind of just been same as usual?
So like training wise, pretty much just do like progressive overload, like pretty much. I mean, it seems to be pretty popular right now where you do like, what people call feeder sets, working up to a top set, and then you'll do like 2 max out hard sets, and those are your sets that count for building your shoulders. And You know what I mean? Like everyone's getting all scientific about it, which honestly, I'm a numbers guy and I love it. But yeah, so I do the same thing. Like I like it a lot. It works really well. I'll do a lot of like max of 8, back off 15, or a max of 8 drop. Like not a ton, maybe like 2 intensifiers a workout or something. And then like, on the deadlifts and the heavy lifts go to like 8, 10, mix it all up. But generally, yeah, just progressively overloading. I mean, it's nothing special. And the only thing we changed just for arms and shoulders and overall like chest development is like I had gotten away from barbell stuff just because I don't know. I moved here and I started going to the Trinity, and they had so much great equipment. I was like, dude, I feel this better. And I was in love with the Smith machine because ours doesn't have a counter or anything. It's 55 pounds. So like it's a real bar just on a track. So you get like the benefit of the Smith, but it's not light. So I fell in love with that. So I was using the crap out of that for the whole time I lived here, 9 months. So that's when Marcus, my coach, was like, let's get back to barbell and let's just build, old school. Like he's very old school like that. And I do believe like, we have an old school seated shoulder press that's super sketchy. Like the things are right here and you need, like when you load it, you have to have a partner. It's that old, but I'm just saying like when you press, it's just different. You know what I mean? So, but that's what we did. We changed everything from machines to everything I could do barbell is what we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is chest that area that you're really focused on, or what are some of the other body parts that you've been kind of focusing on during prep or this year?
Not really chat like upper, like, everybody needs a little upper love, but like for me, mainly my shoulders and my arms suck the worst. And then my hamstrings need work, and then the rest of my body needs work. So that's like every
Spoken like a
bodybuilder.
true bodybuilder, right? I just need to get
Exactly.
bigger overall, right, Mike? Yeah. Okay, now I know you kind of already touched on this lightly, but going into nationals, you will be satisfied with your showing, your performance, if what at nationals? Fill in the blank. Give us a little bit more detail.
Win the whole show. That's it.
Okay.
Like the overall, other than that, it's gonna feel like a failure, really. That's how I am. That's how I always am. So
Yeah.
you
How many what's your posing kind of routine or practice look like how many hours, how many sessions? You said JT's helping you out. He's a classic physique Olympian. So talk to us a little bit about the improvements in your posing and how much practice you've been doing, Mike.
Yeah, so early on, I just got with JT like for because he's so good, and he's almost sometimes so good that he's like up here, and he'll be like, do this, and you're like, what is that even? How do you even do that? You know what I mean? So sometimes there's a huge gap, especially because I suck so bad. But like what he did early on before he really helped me until the Grand Prix, and then I just, he's getting ready for the Olympia. I'm like, I'm an adult. I'll take care of myself. But what was really important was the first couple of times we met. We would train together a little bit, and then um, he would pose. But he showed me stuff like how to not overpose. He showed me how to like flex my legs without squeezing my legs, or like, and all that helps because all that takes the juice. You know what I mean? Like when you're posing really hard, it makes a huge difference. That's why I almost passed out. So he was just showing me like there's a level of like once you hit this, you can't hit it any harder. You know what I mean? So don't kill yourself. And then he just taught me how to get into position better, how to put my hips like, because I just like don't have very good balance and stuff. And I think a lot of it's because my mobility, which I'm working on. But like basically posing highlighted a lot of issues because now I'm fixing my mobility to pose better. But because of that, I'm training better. And because of that, I'm developing better. So it's like, that's why I say like the posing slap in the face is like really good for me. But so he helped for that little section. And then we just, it's not that we don't want to or anything. It's just like, I don't want to bug him. He's in, prep for the Olympia. And I'm like, dude. So since then, I'm a very checklist person. If I don't know if like, I'm sure people are like this, but some people just pose after the gym and they don't have to time it and they feel good. For me, I have to say, like, I'm posing for 20 minutes every single day. Now, I'll be completely honest. Some 20 minutes I'll go downstairs and how much posing gets done? Maybe little to none. You know what I mean? But it's, I'm in the room, I'm doing what I'm, you know what I mean? Like, but for me, the thing is, if I never get to the room, I never pose. So now, like, that might be 1 in 10 sessions where, like, I just feel like trash. It's not that I don't pose, but maybe I pose 3 or 4 minutes out of the 20. And then there'll be days I go down there and I'm just ripping around posing for 20, 25, 30. And that's just, I just accept the ebb and flow that, like, the average is going to be. But for me, the biggest thing was just, I never had it on the agenda to get in the posing room for 20 minutes, you know, and then I started realizing how important that is, just being in the room. Because you're not going to just sit there. Realistically, you're like, well, what's this look like? And then even if all you do is figure out a little twist or something, I'm realizing that's all it is. You don't have to stress out and, like, you know, I'm not literally posing 20 minutes solid, but now I do usually start out with a round like that, where it's going to be 10-second holds all the way around because I don't want to look like an idiot again. But am I realistically going to do that for 20 minutes every single day? I mean, I'm not, but I am also the type of person that if this strategy didn't work, then we're going to crank it up and then maybe I will do that. But so that's just been it. I just 20 minutes every single day. And now, like, what I realized is normally at this point in prep, you know, because, like, my body's coming together, like, I'm good. But normally right now I start freaking out about, oh my gosh, like, I normally seriously don't have a routine together. Like, we put that routine together at the house. I think I told you before the show. Or no, I probably didn't tell you because I didn't see you. Yeah, so we put the routine together at the freaking house the week of the show. Like, which, to my point, JT can do that. Why? Because he poses all the time. So if you're just put some music on, of course he can do that. He does it all the time. But for me, it's like, you know, and then we'll try to add poses because you don't want to just hit bodybuilder poses. And that's when I really suck because I haven't practiced them. So now you're trying to learn new poses, learn a new order, put it with the song, and go on stage in 72 hours. It's just a bad idea. But this time is awesome because I put in 20 minutes a day, every single day since the last show. So, I mean, dude, that's got to be like, I don't even know, maybe 20, 30 hours, 40 hours posing. I mean, so I would never feel disappointed at whatever I bring because I've put in all those hours of work. And because of that, I'm so relaxed right now because I know I can pose. I just have to relax enough to do it. Like now it's literally like, I know I can pose and I can present. I just got to relax and then do it, you know, which a lot of that is experience. But again, that's why I'm, like, in a sense, throwing myself into the fire of a big, big stage with guys that are experienced because I need the experience, you know, like I need to be nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
I love that philosophy and that mindset. Talk about your coach, Marcus. What's his last name, Mike?
it's Wade.
Okay. Because so, I mean, I've never heard of him outside of him coaching you. So, is he kind of he's in your area? Because if I remember right, you moved down to where he's located to just kind of connect with him more and be in person. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Because he's part owner of the gym that I go to.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
So
that's also
is he kind of like a local coach there in Oklahoma or what?
yeah, he has clients like all over, but it's just kind of like one of those things where, like, there's so many coaches now. I feel like it's just, you know what I mean? Like, there's big or like middle level coaches that I should know that I have no idea who they are. It's like, it's crazy. So yeah, more locally, but he does have clients all over the country, but it's just, you know, country's a big place.
How did you get connected with Marcus? Then start working with him from at first.
So I was stationed here in Oklahoma 6 years ago when I was in the military. And I had a buddy, his name was Sean, who I don't know if he'll ever see this, but that would be hilarious. He was looking crazy at the gym because I don't think I ever told Sean this. And I was just like, yo, like 2 years ago, he looked like a teenager. And I was like, who's your coach? Because I had been trying to find a good coach for forever. I mean, I was working with these clowns that, you know, I mean, I've always been me. So I follow it to 110%. but like their diet and stuff was not good. So I was like, dude, what? Like, come on, man. Like he started after me and now, but it's because he had a good coach and obviously some help. But and I was like, yo, who's your coach? So he told me, and then I hooked up with Marcus, and then it's really just been like history since then. I mean, we got way, way closer when I moved closer to Arkansas, and I started visiting for the shows, and then that's when I like developed my real passion for like, oh, like I'm sweating at night because I need to get out of the military and do what I want to do, which is like travel, have people compete, watch them, like watch their eyes light up on stage and like watch them win it overall and cry because like it means so much, like, and in the process, you change these people's lives. You know what I mean? Like me and Marcus, and I'm sure it's the same with a lot of these guys going to nationals. It's like he's more of like a brother or a father or like, you know what I mean? Like you grow so close because prep is so intense sometimes. And as I'm noticing like the levels go up, it just gets more intense because everything's got to be more, like more relaxed in a sense, but like more intense. So that like it's more relaxed because I know what I'm doing, but it's more intense because you're getting all these updates, daily, as opposed to like, well, it's a local show. Let's just get them to the prep. You know what I mean? It's like, no, we're gonna adjust every little thing we can every single day, all the way. So it's just, yeah.
Okay. How does Marcus kind of set up your nutrition? What does that look like for you guys? You guys have, a bunch of, do you guys have like high days around, legs and back, or do you kind of keep things the same every day? Is food's coming in and coming out? Like, talk to us about that for a quick minute.
Yeah, so basically high day, low day, and a rest day. A big thing that he believes in because he had a lot of digestion issues, like, and I can't even remember because I wasn't that close with him when he had it, and I wish I was because it's like a lot of good information for a lot of coaches, to be honest. But like there was times when he couldn't eat and he would be in bed like crunched over, and that was it. Like he couldn't move, nothing. So he started doing a lot of research and he started just doing some things differently. Like we take like a ton of the Revive vitamins, which I think a lot of people live by right now. I mean, you've seen people's blood work. It's insane. Like those vitamins are, I will preach them till the day I die. Like just because they're good. You know what I mean? So like he did stuff like that, but then also like on our rest days, we fast for 14 hours. And he's like, you're eating so much in the off season or even in prep sometimes. Give your gut a chance to like actually clear it out. And then on that rest day, eat lighter. You're not going to the gym, you're not doing cardio. Like you don't need to eat a ton. So don't, save those calories. So, and then for me, I think it was on my legs and my back. Actually, I think it was my chest and my back. But I mean, obviously, we stopped doing that. We like the high days don't really matter in prep. Like they do, but at a certain point, the high day is like 1 grain of rice and the low day is no grains, So it's like it really is not anything crazy. But in the off season, yes, sometimes we'll do like a legs, back, and chest. You know what I mean? If you really need some development. But then we'll do our moderate days like a shoulder or an arm day. And that's when we'll go higher fat, lower carb. And then on the high days, higher carb, lower fat. On the rest day, just low general. And then pretty much like top to bottom, pretty much like the standard stuff, a little bit of fats in the beginning of the day, a little bit in the middle, like a tiny bit, none around training, and then a little bit as the nightcap. And then you spread the protein and the carbs around training. I mean, it's a pretty standard 6 meal,
Yeah. I love that you brought up that, Marcus is kind of focused on the digestion and gut health. That's something I think is, especially, you being 27 and you're really just kind of getting into the bodybuilding thing. I think that will play into your longevity, Mike, in the sport, because I mean, I've brought this up before, but I'm going to continue to bring it up because I listened to James Flex Lewis on his podcast talking about some of the reasons why he had to step away or chose to step away from bodybuilding. And he literally said on his podcast, the number one reason was he had his stomach digestive issues. That's the number one reason that forced him into retirement is his stomach. I mean, when you have a 7-time 212 Mr. Olympia saying that, like that's the number one reason why he had to retire like that. that should really say something and speak very loudly to competitive bodybuilders, because it's a part of the game. So I think that's great. Now, in terms of foods, do you guys just kind of keep the same foods in? Have you had the same foods in for all of North Americans prep, all of Nationals prep, or have you kind of switched some things in and out?
We uh we just do the if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it's just like, like even now, like this isn't something we talked about or something that would even matter, but this is just me. I was like, today I could do shrimp to mix it up, but I haven't done shrimp in 24 weeks. So why would I do it on peak week? You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
just like, does it matter? Probably not. Will it matter up here to me? For sure it will. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, it just basically, but I am very much so like the robot. Like I actually use, I mean, I use more seasoning and prep, just like dry stuff. And then some of the sugar-free sauces in the beginning of prep. But like honestly, out of prep, like in the off season, the way I eat is kind of disgusting. Like I eat oatmeal dry, like super dry. I eat chicken and rice with literally nothing on it, which is not even good. Like I should at least salt it. I mean, but like I am a robot. So like, and Marcus knows that. So whereas other people, and I do think there is like, I do think if you're only not all the time, because I think that's bad for digestion. Like we need to switch up the foods after this because that would be bad. Just chicken all the time. Um, but I do think like maybe 2 weeks out or something, and this is a theory, like nobody shoot me down. If you eat the same foods, like I don't see why you wouldn't have a more consistent look than if you change it up too often. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that like your coach does, but I mean if you're like today I'm gonna have chicken and then or like you have 6 meals chicken and veggies. If you're like today I'm gonna have all chicken, then tomorrow all shrimp, then I'm gonna have chicken, shrimp, chicken. I just don't not that it's gonna make a huge difference, but I do think wouldn't it be a more consistent look? I mean, in theory, I don't know if you're eating the same stuff, but yeah. So
Yeah, no, I think that's, it's definitely a theory, but the more I have these conversations with UNPC athletes and the IFBB pro athletes and these coaches, it's like, I mean, a lot of them are just kind of like you got to be, and I am the same way, just the robot. You kind of find what sits well with your stomach and digests well, and you just kind of you ride that out, and it just kind of makes life a little bit easier, I guess. But okay, now quickly here, Mike, before we kind of wrap things up, I want to touch on, personal training and, kind of just like developing this training business. Talk about, because I think you just kind of, you moved down to Oklahoma. Was it just earlier this year?
yeah, January 1st. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And is that really when you started personal training? Talk about that for a quick minute.
so like basically I moved in with Marcus because I had, saved money and no place to stay. And that was the plan was like I had saved up money from the military. We're gonna start getting clients and this and that. And like to be honest, I had nothing, no experience. Like I studied a lot of stuff online. I took J3U. I don't have the NASM cert, but I have the book, so I read it. And at the time I was broke. So I was like, if someone really cares, I will pay, go online and take the test. But if nobody asks, then I'm not going. Like, to be honest, it was just a finance thing. Cause I'm like, I read the book. Like, dude, I'll take the test right now. So, but honestly, no one's ever asked. So I haven't taken that test. And I mean, personal training for me, this is my what would you say, like resume, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, but so I mean it just takes a while because I'm not from here. So nobody knows me. You can't expect to get clients. I'm not at a corporate gym getting fed clients. I'm not at a crunch or like a 10 fitness or, which is like, in my opinion, a lower level of personal training anyways. Because basically I just do my own thing, but I work out training. So I get to do like everything by myself, but Marcus was just helping me. And so basically, I mean, it took till like March, I think, if I remember right, to start getting a couple people. And then, man, I just gave 110% with them. Like, and I actually just care about them. And it just started growing and growing. And I've been super blessed. And now I'm up to like 20 clients that I train almost every single day. So And this is the only day I don't work, Sundays. So it's like, but I don't consider it work and I love it. And I mean, that's it. I mean, but basically for the personal training, just trying to get the word out, and then like online coaching, same thing, but it's just like you need these reps, I need people to come check it out, see what I can do because I believe in myself. But you gotta produce some results. And same thing, it's just a time game where right now, now my reputation is getting around, especially what really helped me locally is because I'm involved. So like we do events for our tempering at different events around the city. We meet a bunch of people. So then they know me from there. My Instagram is doing all right. So they might know me from there. Or what else? Oh, man, lost it.
Probably competing at North Americans and people seeing that probably helped too, right?
Yeah, that. And then, yeah, because everybody knew because I had a plan and then leave. And then I came back and guest posed and a ton of people saw that. So like all this has helped grow the business, which is great. And honestly, like because of how hardcore I am, all my clients want to be on track. And it's actually crazy because like you notice how much you motivate them. Like when I left for my trip, everybody fell off their diet. And I was like, guys, but it's just like it just shows you that like you are the leader, like and that's why I hold myself to a high standard. And I just think that it pays off, you know what I mean?
It does. Yeah, you are a walking billboard, right? I think you kind of alluded that or touched on that lightly earlier. Is like, I mean, you are your business, your body is, and you are a walking billboard, just like I am owning a gym and training people. It's like people that want to lose weight aren't going to hire a trainer or go to a gym where the trainers or the owner is 100 pounds overweight. Like it doesn't work that way. Like even if you look the part and you don't know that much, you're still going to be able to get business because you are that walking billboard. You are on some level practicing what you're preaching or trying to preach. So it only makes sense to live the life so that you can preach the life and then also help other people live that life, right?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so last thing I want to touch on, Mike, before I let you go today. What are your thoughts in terms of the future of you competing? So you stated on here that your goal is to win the overall. That means you would have an IFBB Pro card. That means going into 2023, you'd be an IFBB Pro. So if you get your pro card this year at Nationals, or if you don't, what are your guys' thoughts going into 2023? Do you have any thoughts? Are you going to take the complete year off? Either way, touch on that for a minute.
Basically there's just one option: get the card and then take the year.
Okay.
That's it. I mean, but it's like we're we're not sure how long. I think that's like a lot of guys after you go pros, like how quickly are you gonna get bigger? You know what I mean? Do you need a year or do you need 18 months or do you only need 9 months?
Yeah.
So that's just something we'll just see, but like there's not a rush after that.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely want to get back on stage, but not like a rush.
Yeah.
So
What food or what restaurant or what meal are you most looking forward to when prep's all done for nationals?
see, I don't do that trap. My coach taught me that, and I learned a lesson my first show doing that. I know like I get it. Everyone wants to do it and plan it, but I just think it's very unhealthy because my only thing is this: we work so hard for show day. And then when we get there, all anyone gives a shit about is the pizza afterward. And I just think, man, that's such a shame,
Hmm.
because I mean, I get it. You're starving. I want a pizza too. I haven't had pizza in 2 years. Like, but I just think the focus should be family and friends and like celebrating together, which is why I said basically, fuck the meal. We're gonna cook something. What it is, I like my mom's taco dip. I think I said make that, but they can make whatever they want because there's gonna be 9 of us, and I just want to spend time with them. And we all have an early flight Sunday, so I want no stress. Let's just eat something. It can be just more chicken and rice, as long as I can eat until I can. You know what I mean? As long as I can eat until I'm full, we're good. I'll be happy because yeah, that's just how I feel. Like, there's always a chance to eat out. When we come back, we can go to dinner or something. And then I like that better because everyone's so frantic after the show. We know what's here local. If we want to go to a nice dinner, we'll pick a spot that we actually enjoy on a night that's not going to be crazy, because everyone gets there and then the rest of, everyone's like, let's get appetizers. I'm starving. And it's just kind of miserable because everyone's hungry. If you watch a show, like not that much food. Sometimes they don't let you bring water or food into the venue. And if you're going to watch the whole show, you're in there 4 hours. So like, then even as a competitor, you're like, I'm starving. But then the people watching, you're like, yo, I'm starving. And then you're like fighting over what to eat, So I think it's bad to focus on that.
You know what? I think you're the first person that's ever kind of, shared that sort of a mindset. And I respect that, man. That's super cool. That's enlightening for me as well. So I appreciate you touching on that and sharing that, Mike. So we're going to wrap it up, man. We kind of got caught up, got your thoughts on North Americans, got your thoughts on Nationals. I personally want to say to you, Mike, good luck, dude.
Thank you.
You guys are going to be stepping on stage, it sounds like, on Saturday. And kind of whatever happens at Nationals, I'll probably be reaching out to you to get you back on, and we'll talk Nationals, and then we'll just kind of take it from there. But why don't you, before I do a quick outro, give us your Instagram. If you know Marcus's Instagram, why don't you give us his Instagram? And if you want to leave us with any shout outs or anything like that, go for it, Mike.
Okay. My Instagram is just Mike_Scherer, SCHERER35. And then Marcus is M1_concrete, like concrete, _tank, like tank. And other than that, like all my links are on my Instagram. So if you guys want to check out like my YouTube, I have my old prep and stuff on there. And I think that's it. I really just do Instagram. It's so easy to get caught up in 55 different. Have you seen that new it's so stupid, but the kids are doing it. Some of the like 18-year-olds I train do it.
TikTok?
No, it's like it will randomly come up and you have to take a picture of whatever you're doing right there.
Oh.
It's called like, it's so stupid.
It sounds stupid. The buck halts with me with Instagram. Like, obviously I had Facebook because, that was a huge thing when I was, end of high school going into college. And then Instagram came out. I love Instagram because I just love pictures, man. And that's what Instagram is really all about. And then that's really it. I tried Twitter, like when I was in college. I thought that was stupid at the time. I still think it's stupid. TikTok, yep. I haven't even downloaded it. I won't because it's like a Chinese, I don't know. I won't even go there, but no thanks. And I had to draw the line at Instagram. So I don't know what you're talking about, and I probably will, Mike. So
you don't need to. It's really dumb. I don't have it either. But it would just like ding right now, and I'd have to take a picture, and it would take a picture of both. I don't know. Fucking weird, man.
Yeah, I can't handle all that stuff. Like I've got a life to live just like you do, right, Mike? So,
yeah.
But cool, man. All right. Well, good luck, dude, at Nationals. We'll get you back on after Nationals at some point. And thanks for coming back on and chopping up with us, Mike. Okay.
Absolutely. It was good seeing you.
Yep, for sure. All of you who are tuning into this episode of Behind the Muscle Podcast, I just want to say thank you so very much. If you guys have not done so already, make sure you please hit that subscribe button on YouTube in terms of Behind the Muscle Podcast. That's really important because I release all of these episodes first on YouTube, and then I'll distribute them to iTunes, CastBox, Podbean, and some of the other major podcast platforms. So if you want to stay up current on all the latest BTM episodes, make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube. Then also please take this episode with Mike. Make sure you share it on your Instagram stories. Tag Mike, tag Behind the Muscle, so that we know that you listened specifically to this episode and found great value in it, in which I know you did. Also, make sure you guys go ahead and, if you are not following Mike already, give him a follow. Just send him some positivity as he's going into peak week for Nationals. That would be really cool for you, some of you, just to follow him. And again, just send him some, some positivity as he's wrapping up this prep. And then per the usual, I will leave you all with this. Remember, behind the muscle, there's always a story. We'll catch you guys later.